Good to go, Shayla.
Yeah.
All right. It is 9 o'clock on the 15th of September. I would call a regular scheduled meeting of the Dolores County Board of County Commissioners to order. If everyone can join me in pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Looking at the agenda, do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I don't have anything.
I don't have any either.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as circulated.
And I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye. Yeah.
I'm a yes as well. Agenda's been approved as circulated. We have a motion to approve expenditures.
I'll make a motion, we approve the expenditures that were submitted.
And I will second that motion.
Motion from Commissioner Yellman to approve expenditures as circulated and a second. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. This as well. And it looks like we have a whole slate of minutes here. July 21st, 2025, a regular meeting that happened in Rico. July 28th, 2025, special meeting minutes. July 31st, special meeting minutes. August 4th, regular meeting minutes. And August 7th, special meeting minutes. There any additions or corrections to the minutes as circulated?
I have none.
I don't have any either.
I'll make a motion to approve July 21st Rico regular meeting minutes, July 28th special meeting minutes, July 31st special meeting minutes, August 4th regular meeting minutes, and August 7th special meeting.
For your motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Nothing for me.
All in favor?
Yes.
And I'm yes as well. Meeting minutes have been approved. And just reminders, we get into today, public comment limit to 5 minutes per speaker. And at our first guest agenda item, our UV update.
Good morning,
John.
Want me to come to the front, stay here?
You can sit wherever you want. Yeah, if you have documents and stuff, that's why I put the table there for that type
I
of
don't
thing.
really have any documents, so.
Okay,
So, just to start, the update, good morning, everyone. As of right now, the construction is pretty much complete. We have some one-off electrical, stuff going on. Primary focus on site now is testing and commissioning, getting ready to energize the plant. So, we have, as of this morning, I think there were 60 on site still. That's mostly subcontractors working at our substation, getting everything ready to put it on the T line. And just the testing contractor, our on-site personnel, but actually the UV personnel, we're down to 40 people, so to 60 total. Like I said, there's no deliveries left scheduled. All deliveries are on site. There's no real construction. Like I said, the last of the panels were hung last week. So really not a lot to update. Just like I said, just commissioning and testing at the moment. Just trying to get everything ready to energize.
okay. Is Tri-State, I mean, is that are they stepping in more right now?
We're still in charge of all the commissioning and the energization. Tri-State is out there. They did some work from their sub to ours, trying to get everything ready on their end. I believe we're actually energizing Friday. Is that correct, Mark?
That's correct. Yeah, they made their connections last week. Some testing first half of this week, and then I'm hoping to close in and energize back to the project substation Friday. Yeah, and then as John mentioned, I would say probably another month of, even that number is gonna dwindle down. Over the next month, and then we'll have a skeleton crew the last month of the year, probably 10 people, something like that, focused on just, cleanup. And the earthwork and just kind of neatening up everything and preparing for the vegetation and everything over the spring next year, just getting all that prepped for, the season. Yeah, and then I think the turnover to Tri-State, we'd like it to be by the end of the year. It could be early into next year, just based on some of the turnover stuff, but. As you mentioned, just pretty much punch list and testing right now, commissioning.
Yes, I pretty good fire up that way. No. Perfect constituents concern over the burn panels back in the northwest. Giving testing with the soil and like that.
So for right now, yes, we've been working with Tri-State. A little bit of the timing on that initially was hold down for insurance to come and check out the situation, and then at the same time been working closely with Tri-State and their team just to make sure we follow all the procedures. It's not something that we were focused on the job and using, third-party outside resources that are professional cleanup type crews. So we've been working with them, getting bids and just the process down with them. And right now we're targeting the week of the 29th, and they're saying about 2 weeks for cleanup. So we just want to put it all in someone's hands that's familiar with this. And then to your point on the soil, yes, we are working with the third-party resources there as well, and intend to do some understanding of soil and remediation. All that's part of this cleanup plan with these outside resources.
Okay,
So,
what contractors? With the state, or is it,
what is it?
is it with the state, environmental, third party?
One of them is, I believe it's Clean Harbor.
Clean Harbor,
Clean
developer, they're the large disaster cleanup recovery contractors known nationwide.
And I think they have actually a subcontractor, that subcontractors that work under them, but they're the larger umbrella. And they are in Denver, I believe. And then another one is called Solar Cycle, I believe. I've kind of been a little bit more hands off on it. Like other individuals at the office and kind of handling that. So I've been getting information slowly from them, but it sounds like we're down to those two. And like I said, the week, the 29th, in 2 weeks is what everyone's anticipating.
Okay,
Before the cleanup effort.
okay. With environmental health, I would encourage some communication and information sharing with those reports with Julie. On that way, that'd be best for us to disseminate that information. On our end.
So I work for public health. I'm the environmental health person. I have just some curiosity questions. I don't know if you guys are the group that can handle them, but like whenever panels like that burn, I mean, we understand that cadmium that's in them can now turn to a cadmium telluride, and that's very harmful in soils and very harmful in water. I saw where you guys have blocked those off and you had wattles, and so water can't run through. We had a pretty good amount of rain the last couple of days. Did all that stay put, or did it go off into some of the surrounding fields, or?
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say they were the subject matter experts to comment so much on some of the particulars. You did mention cadmium telluride, and I believe that's a different type of panel. It's not the panel type that we have.
These don't have cadmium in them?
That I believe, and again, I don't want to say on the record exactly, but I believe that is the case from my experience. It's a completely different type of module. And these are not that. And we absolutely can field any questions and have our subject matter experts, comment on that and work through the board to get that information back to you, absolutely.
Yeah.
But as far as, yes, we did put some wattles and some silt fence and things of that nature. I have not been on the site this morning since
We
the.
already checked. There wasn't any runoff. There was a lot of silt that was caught on our side,
Okay,
but it didn't look like there was any kind of a discharge off the site outside of the silt fences installed in the walls.
And then my other concerns is like, when they're picked up and removed, I know you'll have to do some soil contamination removal. I know you said you have a third party, but any idea where that gets hauled to and how it gets hauled?
yeah, so I mean, that's part of the process we're still working through with
Okay.
them. And we can absolutely share that information once we have the final selection. I mean, we still don't know 100%. I mean, both contractors have provided information. I know one was supposed to come to site.
Today or tomorrow.
Okay.
They were trying to come this weekend, but of course we were closed.
They actually tried to make it last week, but we're given our office address, so they missed it. They'll be here this week, but part of that was for them to. They've seen photos, we've explained it, they explained some options. And we know the whereabouts of the final destinations. Of course, everything will be tracked and paperwork to back all that stuff up.
That's good.
Those will be, sorry, just to add, those procedures and paths will be largely dictated by the test results that are
Right.
happening right now.
Okay,
So they'll tell us this needs to go here in this manner, and this needs to go here in this manner. It might not even be an answer for everything on site going to one location.
Yeah, to that point, like, if things are recyclable, then they want to go that effort. And I mean, I would say, I don't want to say percentage, but most of the panels on site are still intact, have the aluminum frames, are holding, the glass and things of that nature. There's definitely some that, I wouldn't say burned, but maybe in the shift broke some of the glass and things like that. But most of the fire seems to be, it was the cardboard and the pallets that were around it. And it happened to be staged near the fence because we were in the congested kind of area there. And I think the heat from it is what caught the cardboard, but yeah, to Peter's point, recycle if we can, and then other efforts. Either way, it's gonna be a certified disposal based on the information they gather.
Okay.
And we can provide that information.
good. And I mean, I would just appreciate as much information because we get lots of phone calls about it.
Yes.
And I'm hesitant to answer them because I know it's I just don't want to disseminate any information out there that scares the public.
Sure.
Correct.
And at the same time, I do want to be able to alleviate their concerns, and I think the counties as well. I mean,
Yes.
that's
Pretty good drainage down from it.
yeah, well, just runs like that. You guys are where it goes right in
Yeah.
that canyon, so I think,
No, we 100% understand in that. We full transparency to let everybody know.
and then if I can just ask one more thing, on site, I just kind of like to be there just out of curiosity. Is that a possibility, or
What is it?
to be on site when you guys start discussing some of the things?
Yeah,
Could I be invited?
Yeah, we
I just think that would be a good way to,
well, you're part of
if
it.
you're
What was your name, man?
doing.
Julie,
Julie? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get your last
Yeah.
name.
Kibel, Kivel.
Okay, and can I get your phone number or your email so I could get that?
Yeah, sure, 394. And it's 5718, that's my work phone.
Okay.
And then, I'll just give you a card, there's some in here, it's got my email on it and everything, that'll be easier than.
So the third party contractor who's doing the cleanup is gonna be doing the testing?
No, as I understand it, so Sarah McAlpine is one of our team of 3 that's working on this. She's coordinating the third party testing. I think
It's not the clean.
there's 3 recognized testing companies and we picked one. And I mean, that we're talking to people, we haven't really had to deal with this before, we're builders, but we picked one of 3. We collected samples, shipped them to them, they report the results, they are in process. What I can tell you is just this week, our QA QC on-site resource was instructed that the way we collected the samples in round one wasn't exactly how they wanted the samples collected. So we issued them a second round of, you know what I mean? Like just the process of where we picked what we picked, they said we would like more.
Okay.
So we actually, so in that independent process of testing, they've said we'd like some more.
So can you share the testing with the county?
When it's done, it's not done, it's in process.
I'd like to, I mean, it sounds like the 29th is when all of that.
We won't be touching the panels or the refuse until the test results dictate what we're doing.
Okay. So whenever you guys have a chance, as soon as possible, either share a report. I don't know if you guys are comfortable going through that, or if it could be somebody from the third party that would have a summary.
Summary, got it, yes, share report testing summary from testing agency.
And the question I would expect from the public is gonna be where did you pull soil samples from? And I think the people around you, depending on how far out you went, some people might have hoped you went farther, but and so I'm assuming you'll share the process as well as the results at some point.
Sounds like, I mean, there's 3 companies, that's what they specialize in, and probably field a lot of this other incidents that occur, so. I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, and again, this is not a typical process, so it's not a solar panel fire remediation testing company only. This is more like fire remediation testing. We would like to know what's contained in this sample, what's contained in this sample, and then they report.
Okay.
And that will dictate to the other third-party cleanup companies how it gets processed, what happens to it.
Anything else? Phyllis?
I don't have anything.
Anybody for UV? No. Any specific questions we already have for the specific incident with panels that were coming from the fires? Yeah. Do you guys have anything else?
Not if you don't have any other questions for us.
So I look forward to hearing reports, and
I'd like to thank John and his team for helping support the fire mitigation during the effort. I don't know if we've had a chance to recognize John and his team, but they were out there with some heavy equipment helping, cut fire lines to help with the fire fighting. So I'd like to recognize my team for supporting that effort.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, John.
appreciate the help. I took a lot of various entities to stop that from running up the forest.
It was a great effort, playing everybody that showed up. It was, I'd never been a part of, fire drops and fire line cuts and so many different organizations coming together. It was really, really neat. For a bad situation, it was a good result.
Yeah, absolutely. Those drops were pretty, they had some pretty good aircraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, Julie, thank you, for the communication on them and.
We'll get you out to site, Julie.
Awesome.
And we'll, let me get my head wrapped around with the process and what needs to happen. And we'll have a meeting and we'll go over some stuff.
Good. I appreciate that, guys.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, stay in touch.
Yeah.
Too. So.
Good?
All right, we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Excuse me.
Appreciate it.
Sorry, my car.
so sorry.
Cards are all gone in there, so there's. Nice to meet you. This, yeah. Nice to meet you. See you.
Thank you.
Did you get fired?
Was there not any in there, Julie? There was,
No, they're gone.
did you make?
Yeah, this will be fine. And if you want to share my information with Julie,
Yeah. I
then
will.
she can send me over email. We can start a conversation.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Break here between 9 and 10, so new business, public health, EMS phone services.
Well, that's not quite email.
Is it the answering
It's
service?
a complete answering
Okay.
service. And we're just trying with budget coming up, just to streamline things.
Mhm.
We all have to be on call, so we have to take turns for, like if Megan's gonna be gone or something. But Megan will always have her phone, you know, for that purpose, and so will I. But we just don't, we were just wondering if, what you guys thought of if we just got rid of that. Because we talked to Samantha from the state, and she said that there's no requirement to have a answering service. I mean, our phones already, you know, you can leave voicemail. If it is a true emergency and it's the weekend,
Sure.
you were gonna get more information through our own phones than going through the answering service. And it's like $81 a month.
Mhm.
Our FEP would cover 75% of that, so it leaves 20. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I just don't see any sense for having something that's not utilized.
And then, so it sounds like too, the way it's described to me is that it goes to the answering service and then one of you has to be on call to respond on the answering.
Yes,
It's just a middleman that the,
I agree, and I mean, it's always been there, like. All the vouchers, I mean, years it's been part of public health, but, you know, we checked with the state just to make sure. And, I think our own work phones are better for getting us being in contact. And then we'll just always be on call. One person will take a weekend for on-call duties.
what's been the call volume through the answering service for you guys?
I mean,
Pretty much.
I would say in a month, probably not even 2, because at the most of them are voicemail.
Nothing emergent.
No. I mean, yeah, it's there, and when we're out of office, it picks up and it gets them, but it's not, I mean, it's not a huge. I don't know, I guess I'm just wondering if it's something that you have to keep. Do you guys think it's necessary, or just?
No. Cause if it's a major, the sheriff's office has that's another avenue if it doesn't.
Exactly. I mean, I think there's plenty of ways
We get
to
contact.
get it, yeah. So, but we just wanted to check before we.
I think it would be a good thing to,
Whatever.
especially if you guys have already been in the process of having to take call.
And even those are limited, you know. So, I mean, that's a good thing.
I'm good with.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Is
so
that,
I think that's,
what
We'll
the
just
contract
contract them
look
and-
like, was that just a monthly
yeah.
service fee that, okay?
So do we have to, I'm sure we'll have to go through, I don't even know if there was an original contract on that.
You should probably ask them. Hey, we don't believe we have a recurring contract with you. If you believe you do, would you please send it over or something like that?
Okay,
And, but I would like to take a look at it. Sometimes those can be a little sneaky. I don't remember seeing that. So, I mean, that might have been signed by someone without us seeing it.
Yeah, possible.
okay. So, yeah, we'll check with them that way, and then speaking of phones. NetForce got hold of us and they're wanting us. They said the commissioners wanted us to get on the same phones as. Everybody else in the county's on. Margaret and Shayla have informed me that there's 3 new phones down there that were supposed to have been for public health. He's wanting to sell us 5. So can we use those 3 and just get 2? Or do we just stay like we are?
New phones that were in,
Yeah, the phones, like the new phones that we all got in
Yeah.
our offices.
Yep.
I thought Keith ordered for public health.
Mhm.
I thought they were put in there already, but obviously they're not. I'm not sure why,
So you
but
haven't, you don't have the new phones,
No,
but you are with
of course.
NetForce,
yeah,
but no new phones.
right.
so there are
So-
3 down there. We went and looked Thursday.
So they sent me a contract for 5 phones. And in all reality, we only need 4 because the WIC room doesn't need a phone now because it's the main office. So there's 3 there and we just really need 1. And so I thought maybe that would be better to just get with the guy and say, look, we only need 1 phone and use the
Yeah,
3,
yeah.
but I wanted to make sure that those are for public health.
What are you pointing at?
the old storage room down there.
Oh,
There.
Old equipment.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
3 brand new phones sitting
Yes.
there.
So maybe they just,
I'd say a tentative yes. I mean, just to confirm with Keith, I would confirm with Keith that that's where they need to go.
Okay, and then I'll get hold of him and
Get them put in.
share that on these.
There's no sense in having new phones when you need phones sitting here not
Yeah,
being utilized.
and then my understanding is like Shayla can then just transfer calls straight to us, right?
Connected.
Should be the.
And that would be a good help because we always have to do the phone tag thing.
Yeah.
So,
Is there anything else in public health that isn't consistent with the rest of the county now? Are you on the same internet? You're on the same 365 enterprise accounts now? And this would be the last step towards total
well,
continuity?
we still have one. The whole issue of the document locator, farmers took the modem out to get it fixed so that I can Keith can hook me up to that, the document locator through the county. And for some reason, that's the only thing that still hasn't been completed.
is this regarding the
Septic stuff.
septic? That
Yes.
still hasn't been,
No, and I've got a pile of septics that I need to scan and get into that. And also now, we get a lot of realtors that call us asking for applications. And since I don't have that, I have to go through Road and Bridge to get those sent to me instead of just having them right there at my fingertips. So that would be the last piece that would have us all on the same page.
whose responsibility does that lie under? ITs or
Keith
farmers?
Keith was gonna get it hooked back up. There was a couple of days there where they're going back and forth. They seem to have lost a connection between where it goes over to Road and Bridge and to the senior center, which I don't know why. I don't know what, so they were trying to find that connection to get it reset. So, but we need to do, and I just don't understand why now with Enterprise 365, that we can't just run it through that. I mean, to me, that I just don't see why we're having to have the other modem and the other.
It's a key question, I guess.
Yeah, it is, and, but
We'll
yeah,
get with
that would
Keith
be the
and
last.
Get the phones and your modem.
We could get it.
And then security is all fixed up and
Yeah,
ready to go?
Yeah.
It's working.
yes.
And then do we have the retention figured out on how long you're keeping video, security video, things like that? Did you talk to Lenore about that to
Yeah,
make sure that
but-
you're,
Yeah, the retention on that, we can only ask them to supply it to us, so we're not keeping it on site.
yeah, but if it's a offsite contractor that's keeping data for us, then we need to control them. We need to tell them how.
Our data house would have to align with our retention.
I think that was set up when they first came out. I think Lenore visited, I'll
Okay.
visit with
If
Lenore.
you just double check it. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet,
And we'll follow up with you today. Let you know them.
perfect. That will be awesome, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and let us know what we need with the contract with Topeka
Okay,
too.
I will. I did.
One more thing?
Yeah.
So by summer of next year, we're gonna have to adopt the new regulations, updated regulations regarding on-site wastewater treatment systems. And so you're gonna start hearing more about that and we'll have to put that on the agenda. It's about every 3 years they update and it's a process. I've gone through it 2 or 3 times now. And anyway, just so you know, it's gonna start showing up on the agenda so that because we have a deadline of June to adopt it. And Julie's gonna probably be asking you guys to consider some changes and explaining. It seems like a mile away or a ways off, but it's really not. June of next year is gonna come. So maybe you could, summarize for the board the changes that you would propose, the county make.
Okay.
And then maybe a summary, I bet the state's gonna put out a summary of the changes.
And then do you want me to do that today or just get that ready?
Oh, no, get that ready and.
Yeah, cause it's pretty basic, like we went through, took us about 6 months, the working group to just go through and. Change simple verbiage. Got rid of some of the bedding things that they require certain stands for in our area, that it's just a financial. Burden to anybody putting in a new septic, so those were some good changes. The biggest thing for me, I'd like to see the county do, I'd like to keep everything that we've done in the past. Like we allow pit privies and some of our old outhouses are grandfathered in, those are fine. But I really think we need to look at doing a transfer of title when we do septics, that way no one's buying property without a permitted septic system on it. And that would just really streamline, that's where I get a lot of the phone calls from the realtors and stuff. Because people don't wanna buy, and then, so we're trying to hunt down the old permits, and most of them are there, and it's amazing how far back they go, but we still have quite a few properties on the West Fork.
Mhm.
And Groundhog's much better, but they have been put in without an application. Or we just can't find the application, but we're catching those as we go through.
And this has been considered in the past probably twice, and the only concern, I think it makes a ton of sense. The only concern I would have is, just the workload associated with that. And then if somebody goes to sell their property, they inherited from their grandparents, and it doesn't have it up to snuff septic system. I think you're gonna be hearing some upset people that they've gotta put, 10, 15, 20 grand into a septic system before they can sell their property. However, I still think it's one of those things that ultimately needs to happen at some point. But I think in the future, that's a conversation, that maybe we open up a little bit to the public, if you guys.
I'd definitely like to hear from the public on this.
I will send you all the new regulations and proposals. There's quite a bit of stuff. I'll just send it to you, Eric, and then you guys can just have it so you can start looking at it, and then because we will have to adopt it.
Yeah, and I'll handle with Julie the technical aspects of the resolution, and then there's checkbox menu selections if they do it the same way they have in the past, and that has a lot of different things that you can require, but it's not that broad of a spectrum. The big one is gonna be the title transfer. And then if you do the title transfer, then typically you require the septic to be serviced or pumped. When they do the inspection, if you're gonna do that, so, but, and maybe we could start putting that on the agenda for completion, maybe start January 1, we'll put that on as an ongoing business. I think that'll be enough time.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
January 1, let's put that on. We'll put it under old business and just roll with it.
So Keith said that I asked him about the phones down there, and he said they were extras after the initial install. He will check with Chris over their programming. I know they were working on some for public health. I'm not sure of their status. I'll get right back to you. So he's typing. I assume we're ready to move on that, he said, and I told him, I'm gonna tell him someone reached out to Julie over five, buying 5. You might as well use those 3.
And
Might
by
need 2 more. Okay.
Well, was there just 2? There was there 3? I
There
thought
was
there
3.
was 3.
There was.
But in all reality, Margaret, we don't need, like I said,
You won't.
originally we did have 5 phones, but that WIC office does not need a phone now.
Okay.
Cause that actually is now a mother's room, for the lactating program, so something that Raquel got trained in to do, so that's, I think we can get by the phone. But I would like to be on the same system so we can just, it'd be much easier, but
Yeah, I thought you guys were.
No.
Okay.
And then, did you ask him about the modem too, for septics?
or why we can't just run document locator through 365.
Yeah. That would be the easiest.
I mean, to me, yeah, I mean,
Easiest, but solution.
Let's get rolling, so.
and then one more thing, I did send you that email about
Oh, the
the,
biosolids.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just a heads up. I'll just keep an eye on those and see and visit with the town and with that company and just.
Okay.
That first one's only like 20 acres, but. I guess it's a good testing. Plot, I don't know, so, all right. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks, Julie.
Yeah.
We'll follow up with you.
Okay. On Brandy.
Yes,
Yeah,
don't call us till we have a grandbaby.
Still.
no. And she was
You
like,
get
dude,
miserable.
before. My grandbaby was.
Right. Moving into old business, 88. Shayla,
Nothing new.
nothing new, still rolling good, and then our Zoom recordings, I know I talked about a YouTube channel, as far as just housing the recordings, not using that as a platform to disseminate just as a housing recordings. But starting with Zoom, this is, the fourth iteration of it.
Yeah, and the transcription that it gives, the summary is great. It's awesome.
Okay.
Have you been using that for the,
Well, I haven't, so far ahead on my meetings here, I haven't,
oh,
but my next set is.
I'm anxious to see how the,
Things get better, things.
No, you're getting so, seriously, you are now so good on your drafts, I'm barely looking at.
Thank you.
I focus on, the legal stuff, I don't even have to focus on the small stuff. I did have a question for you. So are you able to download the, meeting from Zoom on
Yes.
your computer?
Yes, and I have just been downloading it on the BOCC recordings, just like I do.
Oh, great, and is it, what format, is it
This is the video, I mean, I don't,
it's the video?
it's just a video, I don't know what. Like VFR, I don't know, I mean, I can,
Okay,
but I couldn't send it over email to Trish, cause it was too big for the website, and that's how we got into the YouTube.
Yeah.
But she did say YouTube was better, because then it would do like the closed captioning. It would
yes,
allow the closed captioning.
yes, and so I can tell you that I think that's becoming the standard practice is to use Zoom and then have the YouTube channel. I think that's San Juan County's doing that. I think Montezuma County's doing that. And those are just too big otherwise to manipulate otherwise.
I think it'd be handy. And Trish said she would set up our YouTube for just that purpose, if we would like her to.
Okay.
Or I can look into it, but I, but it's whatever.
And the meetings will be forever memorialized.
Just, cause I've gone onto Zoom quite a bit, you can't, the audio isn't consistent, I don't know if you're thinking, like, I know you listen to them, when you listen to the video. Like some people are, obviously, some people have loud voices, some people don't, so, I'm not pointing fingers.
She just
Some
pointed.
people have, so as, I don't know how the audio is coming in, but to make it clear, cause that's important.
It did come through pretty good. Sorry,
it?
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it did come through, I mean, there's a few things, but it's not perfect, but I guess it would be the same as our recording, really, is how it comes through. So yeah, I guess.
Like that can be mitigated by just a minor.
Yep. That does do very
technical change.
good picking up.
just because when people are facing this way and talking to you,
Throwing the voice
my
away.
voice is going that way.
Right, and maybe we can get Keith to set that up there.
Because I
Even
know
in the
he
middle of
did,
the room and
yeah, he
table.
did, when it was at the PCS before, yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
Oh, yeah.
that would help.
Makes sense, yeah, that'd be good.
So can we tell Trish to do that? Do you have to vote on it? I don't know. Are we gonna go ahead and have Trish do that? The YouTube? Or me or somebody, are we going to do that so we can get it on the website? Or are we gonna wait a little longer?
It's not an expenditure, is it gonna cost the county anything?
Oh, she's $40 an hour, so I guess.
I think she'd probably vote on, getting a YouTube channel set up, the house our, needs.
And that's for every meeting, $40 an hour?
No,
Just be for
just
her
to
Oh,
set up the
Oh,
YouTube
the starter,
channel.
okay, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Which I'm guessing.
I
would
mean, I
probably
will
be in.
double check that, but yeah, I mean,
Yes,
I'll
I
double
will.
check and make sure there's not a. There's probably a YouTube subscription.
And then the nice thing about it is will technically have, well, not technically, we will already have the recordings downloaded. And so I don't know what YouTube's retention schedule is, but it doesn't really matter because we'll always still have the,
Fail safe, yeah, would have that here for us, but that would just be for the public's access to it, where it would be housed.
yeah.
And most other counties are using YouTube, right? to
Well, I
start
was,
recording.
to be honest with you, I just looked up Montezuma County, but Dennis said he looked up a few too, or didn't you? Or what?
Well, I work in San Juan
Oh,
County and
okay.
Willie Tukey he's the admin up there and that's how he does it. He's been doing it that way now for about a year and it looks pretty seamless. It really does. I mean, I could ask other counties, but I think that's the way it's happening.
I think it'd be a good idea to start using YouTube, have her set it up and.
I'm sure there's a YouTube subscription fee, but I'll ask. We'll figure it out, but it can't be insane, I wouldn't think. I don't know.
Actually, it might not even cost anything because they get money for the hits.
Yes, or yeah, the views and ads at the beginning.
They like you putting content. Free.
No.
Pause there and just open up public comment, have some guests in today and check in with you guys again with me.
Well, I'm just stopping in to say hi. I know you guys, I haven't met you guys before. I'm Ty Copenafer. I'm the office manager for Jones and the Mill in Cortez. So I know the Monticello guys did the social services building for you and some drainage stuff, so just saying hi, I guess. Nothing.
Okay, well, nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Not really have any comments, I just stopped in to. Things out,
Okay,
listening,
how's 2.7 and Earl Charles?
not bad, they're sure gonna have to do some of those weeds before winter time, or it's just gonna. Bunch of snow right up against the edge of the road and create havoc. Run water right down the, the edges of the road instead of into their ditches. I hate to be a critic, but I mean. I've been a road man all my life, I kinda know what happens, what don't.
How's the grading on it right now?
It's not bad, their intersections they get, they don't spend quite enough time to really cut those worst parts out. And so the next probably 50 or 100 vehicles over that intersection, they start bouncing, and of course, they soon rough again. Just back to life.
But they did get done last week.
It did get bladed. A lot better it was. But they do need to. It sure would be nice, I know they need to pull those ditches, I know those tall weeds this year, give them fits.
But doesn't matter how good of a crown you have on it, if there's a barrier preventing the moisture from running off.
Yeah, it's just gonna let water run right down the wheel ruts, I mean.
I just had a question on, Farmers was doing something on the tower last week. Do you have update on what that was?
Um. I have to check with Keith. I know they were coming in and running an additional wire. I don't know exactly what was going on, how they happened with it. But they were tying a wire into
And
the
replacing
box
one
here.
antenna that was not working with one that was. As far as I know.
I don't know what's going on with the tower. I know the infrastructure that was coming into the cabinet was pretty minimal. I think it was one wire. So I don't think it was a big addition here, but that's not a lot of information for you. But
Just wondering if it was new services or.
I don't think so.
something more like maintenance. I can find out with Keith. So, yeah, I have him act as liaison with farmers for that particular call project, but whatever they had going on.
Is this a new office with Jones and DeMille and Cortez? Has it been there for?
About a year
A year.
now is all. Yeah, so I was working for them in Utah and they let me open an office in Cortez. I grew up in Memphis, so it kind of worked out. It was good for me.
Is your dad the commissioner or you just related?
No, the commissioner's my grandpa's brother.
Oh.
I guess, so great uncle.
All right.
Maybe if you have a card, I can speak with Margaret.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can do that. I'll slide it over here.
Okay.
Step back into simple business. We do have to designate our legislative voting member for CCI. Incorporated for the 2026 legislative session.
I think you just do a fabulous job at that.
Continue with me on the roll.
Yes,
Okay.
do we need to vote?
We
Motion.
can do that.
You want that, do you? You're comfortable with it though, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with getting more comfortable with it, especially where we have a legislative proposal for CCI's priority 2026. Yeah, if you guys are good with it. Yeah.
Motion, we appoint Eric Stisney for CCI voter representative designation.
And I will second that motion.
A motion from Commissioner Yellman to appoint Eric Stisney as the CCI voter representative. Designee. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes, as well.
I have a question on that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Why is that coming up now instead of our annual or?
At the January, I think they're just wanting to get it in line with the 2026 for the 2026 legislative session, because they're gonna be stepping into voting on their legislative priorities. Just to see what they would put down right in the legislative session. I guess all kissing,
So is that something that we can shift to the reorganization meeting, so it just happens?
Yeah, I think we do it at the reorganization meeting for the representative, and I think with that, at the reorganization, it includes the voting proxy as part of it.
Okay, so we would have caught this next year.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, I
okay.
think this is just to satisfy them. I think I'm already doing that. I've been in that role since the reorg, but this is to satisfy their side of it.
Huh, weird. Okay,
We actually probably didn't even need to vote on it. We could have said it was
oh, that's okay.
in place from the reorganization, but
Oh, I was just confused, like if it were a new position or something, but it sounds like we've got a handle on it. We're belt and suspenders, as they say.
yeah, I think I just want to get everything in order for the issues coming up. And with that, I appreciate you guys being in tune with that too. That definitely helps me out, and a good perspective as the board collectively looking at CCI's issues. So
Could I interrupt one more time?
yeah,
I don't think you ever gave Sheila direction on moving forward with the YouTube.
I
think you were
yeah.
Were you gonna vote?
Oh, because we do have the setup fee.
If there is one, yeah.
Yeah. Or with Trish, I think
Oh,
there
yeah.
would be, but
Yeah.
our subscription, I'm pretty sure it's free.
Oh, okay.
YouTube's
Yeah.
free.
I think it's a big enough issue where I think you should probably vote on it, just access, giving it the public that access and such.
I'll make a motion to house our Zoom recordings in YouTube.
Second,
Motion to to house our Zoom recordings in YouTube in a second. All in favor?
Yes.
And yes as well. And I'm guessing that'll be communicated out to the public on our webpage.
Yeah.
Just the update to access that.
So when will that start?
Because I can get her to get it going, so probably soon, she's very quick, so.
And I'm assuming Margaret, can go ahead and approve expenditure contracts for the work on that.
Yeah,
They'll be small.
my guess is that's gonna be $40. It should be 1 hour to set up the channel. DSL, I know we're 10 minutes early.
We better wait, cause I think
They'll
a
be coming
couple
up.
others are coming.
Okay. Sure. All right, yeah. Then we have our DWCD Southwest Basin Roundtable and M&R team, board member representatives. We looked at it and this wasn't part of our reorganization. Going to establish that, or had this question about who is going to be engaging with those boards.
Which one was Steve that was,
He was on the Southwest Water Consumers.
but he was staying on one, was it?
either one of them.
Oh, he's not,
He's not on either one. City Parker is not on either one of
What, he's on Silverwater Board though.
The Southwest Water Conservancy District or Conservation District. But these, remember, Mr. Curtis from DWCD came in
Yeah.
and he specifically asked for.
Yeah, no, I remember. I just was wondering if Steve was on any of them,
Not these two,
but,
but on the other one, he still is. Yes.
And so with the M&R team, I don't know how I got included with the emails, but I have looking at since the reorganization, trying to figure out what the board's involvement was with these two positions. I had gotten 2 emails from the M&R team, but it was just sharing the minutes. I don't think there was ever any formal declaration, so I don't know how that happened, but do either of you guys have any proclivity to jump on either one of these?
I'll do the BWC.
For the round table?
And I can do the other one, whichever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's M&R Team Water,
Yeah, that's
board members.
yeah, downriver fish
Oh, yeah,
studies and
that's when Alfie was, I think that's what he did so lots.
Is this something we need to formally recognize as being on those boards, or do you just say?
if you're gonna be on those boards, then you should make a formal appointment.
Okay. Yep. Okay, I'll make a motion to appoint Commissioner Yellowman to the DWCD Southwest Basin Roundtable.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion to appoint Commissioner Yellowman to the DWCD Southwest Basin Roundtable. All in favor?
Yes.
And I'm yes as well.
How many options? One fellas. MR Team Water Board Member Representative.
I'll second that motion. Motion from Commissioner Yellowman to appoint Commissioner Davis to the M&R Team Water Board as a representative. All in favor? And I'm yes as well.
Can we get that on the, can we get those 2 appointments on the reorganization thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how it wasn't on there, if I'd look for it,
You know, the reorganizational meeting is always a work in progress and we've been adding stuff to it for decades. So if any of the board wants anything included on the reorganizational meeting, or thinks it should be or whatever, just I think it's easy to do, and then we just, wipe some of the busy work out for the rest of the year.
Perfect. So, whole business, are we waiting on anyone else? Or do you have to do?
Great.
Okay, perfect. I'll, yeah, and then to our 10 o'clock DSL officer with W building use discussion.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice to meet you.
So, oh geez, it's been a few months since we've had turnover with our VSO officer. Our VSO. Had one person step into that position and then turn over a little bit. Where we're at right now, we've had an advertisement, looked at trying to bifurcate that into transportation and then providing the benefit service. Don't have a lot of applicants, trying to fill that role, we're struggling with it. So looking at some alternatives, bifurcating that role, making it easier where we could get somebody in, maybe one person do transportation, one do benefits, but I mean, even then, we are struggling with finding a person to fill that role. It was brought up, to pursue an IGA with Montezuma County for those benefit services. While still being able to transport out here. However, with that, it sounds like we would lose complete funding with it. I mean, ideally, we want to keep that here if at all possible. And then if that's not possible, we would definitely like to keep transportation services here too. So just when you guys coming to see what we can do, if there's any brainstorming.
Explain that she did speak, can I interrupt?
Oh, no, yeah.
For chairman, about it can, if they are employed with the county, they can also, would you explain that to them?
So for a VSO officer, they have to have they have to be a veteran. They have to be a Colorado resident, and before we were under the assumption that they had to work 20 hours a week. That is a requirement, but now after this second round, finally got a hold of a person who told me that 20 hours a week can be a county employee who could do the VA services and other county services also. So that sort of frees it up. Maybe to find a person who could do it. The last person that we had, that was part of the issue, was there was 20 hours a week with no more vets than we have. Is hard to fill that time slot. So, yeah.
So I had asked, a question on that. So let's just say we hired someone, for a part-time position in the county. And as part of their role, they would be, the VSO. Do they then, that's a $14,000 a year, grant. So do they then keep track of their hours as VSO? And then is it a reimbursable?
Basically, yes.
It's like a reimbursable grant. So if they were, let's just say they were, I don't know, pick something. Let's just say they were driver on 10 hours a week and they did VSO stuff 10 hours a week. They'd have to do an accounting for the 10 hours and list what they did under the VSO duties in order to get the money.
Get the reimbursement from.
And so that's an hourly rate they're reimbursed from the state, you said?
Shayla, how do they send that in? Because it's a report that they have to fill out, how many contacts they had, how many.
It's super easy. You
It's-
grab a.
It's pretty simple.
But I mean,
We
if
have
they
to
only
send
did,
it down.
if they only did 10 hours a week as the VSO for a month, do they get the full 14,000?
For the amount that they work.
It'd be prorated.
But we don't know the hourly.
I don't know what the hourly is. It doesn't say on there what the hourly
No.
rate is. It's a specific amount for a part-time VSO or a full-time. And ours would be a part-time. So I think it's X amount of dollars that they specify for that. But it would depend on how many hours they actually spent on the VSO portion of it.
I have a question too. I have somebody that's interested in doing the driving, but he's not a veteran. But he did drive for DAV in Cortez and he drove for DAV in Arizona, so he has all the training and everything, but he's not a veteran, so he wouldn't be able to fill the VSO position. But he is interested in driving, if that was something that.
I think that might work because when we looked at contracting with senior services, more in an emerging situation for transportation. So I don't think the veteran designation would have to fit for driver.
It wouldn't, but it could, could be part of the 20 hours. The driving transportation portion of it, if it can be a veteran, would qualify for a portion
So
of
if
that.
it's not a veteran, it won't qualify for the 20 hours for the
No.
grant. Okay.
So then,
Yeah.
but that person, if the county does go with an IGA with Montezuma County, could go over to Montezuma County and say, hey, I'd like to drive in Dolores County, can you
Okay.
guys hire me under their veteran services to come out here and do, I think we can do that.
It still wouldn't work because
No.
it still has to be a veteran. Even with Montezuma County, for them to get
Oh,
the money that we would get.
oh, no, I meant if we
Yeah.
just, if we
We're
walk
gonna
away from.
hire
People have to
somebody
go
to come
complete
out.
with Montezuma County.
Yeah, if we walk, if Dolores County just said, we can't do the veteran services, that person could probably go get hired by
Montezuma
Montezuma
to
to drive.
drive for Dolores. Is that what you're saying?
They could, but we would have to pay that.
We'd have to-
That would have to be.
And we
come out
wouldn't
of
be getting any
budget.
funding.
No.
Because we would have a VSO. So
I
I
think
think
we-
where it is, if it goes to Montezuma County, we would still be responsible for transportation out here.
Right.
But we wouldn't be losing all of our. Too.
And then I think we talked about this before, I mean, if you do the simple math, it looks like if it's a 20-hour position, that's $14 an hour, so it's not a huge.
Yeah.
Paid position.
And the county supplemented, so that budget was 30,000. So, the county paid for the gas and the vehicle. I got a grant years ago for the van that they use to transport the veterans. And then we supplement a little bit, get half of it back.
Mhm.
Basically, was how it worked.
And the issue with the seniors was they can only go so many miles to where
I mean,
our vets need to
yeah,
travel.
I mean,
for-
Junction, Salt Lake, Albuquerque are all ruled out.
Grand Junction and Moab are gonna be where the vets need to
Right.
go.
Moab wouldn't be
That
a
was
problem,
close.
but
No.
anything,
And senior services does transport, a lot of them already,
yeah.
because they don't want anything to do with the VFW. So we do
Oh.
transport a lot of them
Yeah.
already.
Well, and honestly, just an observation, it seems like we've been chasing our tail ever since they put the new regulations in and they've made it extremely difficult and. I mean, 14,000 sounds like a lot in a lump, but if you break it out, a minimum wage job, what is minimum wage now?
That's actually, 15 something, I think.
So it's,
Yeah.
it must be a minimum wage job, I don't know, it
Yeah,
seems like,
it's-
it seems like we're chasing our
It's
tail, you
difficult
know.
to fill because our younger veterans with families, that's not
Not even.
gonna support their families. Our older veterans, a lot of them are retired. They don't wanna work anymore.
They're fine, with transportation. There's a lot of interest with transportation, but
Right.
getting into the computer system and going through all of those hoops is problem. For
They have other plans.
so.
And I think, if you don't mind, part of the reason we wanted you guys to come is because we give the VFW quite a substantial amount of funding. And so if we move this, that funding could go away, or a good portion of
Or
that.
be reallocated into transportation, something, but it would. It'd probably have to look different, so we would be losing. I don't know, on the transportation services.
So how does this tie into, how does this tie into our funding of the VFW location in general? Cause we went through that process,
did.
they wanted to move.
Mhm. They wanted us to move out of there, remember, Dave, we went through this last.
Oh, yeah.
They wanted us
Yeah.
to move out of there, and so. I mean, you'd lose the rent, you'd lose the. Utility contribution that we pay the utilities over there. I mean,
Home bill.
that might shut you guys down, wouldn't it?
Yeah, when they were gonna move it out of there, Margaret put together a letter and we sent it to our head person. And Margaret made a good argument. They said, okay, you can stay. And so we were happy he could stay, because as I said, that we needed that money, but I mean, if we don't get it anymore, we just don't get it anymore. We'll find something else.
You won't shut, you won't have.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And I could do it until February, but then I'm going to the law enforcement academy in February, so. I will be out of pocket.
You could do the VCO till February?
I could do it until February along, I mean, I'm working for the senior center too.
So you, yeah, you have those hours, and just break it out. Okay.
They would just, I think the senior center could probably work it out where they put the on rides for veterans.
Okay,
And then,
accumulate those hours there,
and then I just count those hours for plus.
and then to any additional, because we do have people willing to drive, veterans willing to drive, that would be the VSO. Could they,
So they'd have to take the Grand Junction.
yeah,
Yes.
could they,
Mhm.
I mean, could they subcontract through our VSO somehow for those transports? I don't know.
No, either.
The,
I mean, I don't know, I'm not sure how that would work, to be honest.
Who pays the vehicle?
The vehicle's ours, county
Or
does.
we just take
Yeah.
one of the senior?
No.
no, we have our own, and the, and we just went through some repairs with it,
Mhm.
it should be good to transport it,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
I mean, ultimately, they're the county's employees, so right?
yeah,
Yes.
So I mean, this really comes down to $14,000 a year. That's it. So you guys can do whatever you want. And
Okay.
but you just run the risk of $14,000 not coming in.
mhm.
I mean,
But, yeah, I mean, 14,000's not a lot, but I feel like the implications fairly big for our veteran service out here, because ideally we would like a VSO housed in the VFW, where we're working with VFW on that. So. I don't know. I don't know. if
Maybe
ideally-
somebody will move in between now and then and want the job and.
And that's why I didn't want to apply for it, because I didn't want to do it and then have to leave.
Hmm.
And leave everybody high and dry. So
That's longer than the last one.
Yeah, unless I'm missing the mark with that, you guys think it would be better to go a different route? IGAs,
what do you think?
To go a different route with what?
like an IGA with Montezuma County
County.
and.
I don't know, I mean, I would like to have the VSO office right here.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's wonderful that Chris has stepped up and said she would do it till February. I mean, but, I mean, she's gotta go through that training and all that stuff. But maybe, in the meantime, that, someone will step up and do it. I mean, I would rather have the VSO office here, and exactly why I say that, I don't know. I just think for our county.
Yeah, if I was,
Better service,
if I was to do it with this gentleman that's wanting to drive, would he be able to step in and take like the Grand Junction trips or the?
I think you'd be able to step in and do that, I just don't know about. Putting those hours down where it's not the
Yeah.
VSO, that was the subcontract thing, if you could.
But if I'm
Right.
only transporting, well, primarily transporting veterans with senior services and can count those hours, I will have 20 hours.
Okay.
Close.
And I mean, with that, I mean, your numbers for deliverable. Would you be able to count both, those for senior transports and veterans? Cause I mean, definitely wouldn't want to pull those numbers away from senior services. And you know, I think it'd be best to count both.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would say we try it and you submit the hours and we'll know soon enough. And if they reject, just keep in mind.
And that way we aren't,
County
we
might have-
lose our funding, right,
They
Margaret?
come out of pocket for a month or something. We
So we hope
figure
not.
Okay,
how we need to adjust it to make it work.
okay.
But, I mean, if it's temporary anyway to February,
Yeah.
unless you guys can talk regular going another year or something.
very appreciative of February. I feel like that buys some time for keeping it here.
I think it's worth trying it and submitting the bills to.
See what happens.
Yeah, see what happens, and as long as the county's willing to take the risk that they might reject the billing and then you can figure it out from there. Something.
And with that, I mean, we're willing to be as creative as possible as we can be to try and keep it here. So if
Well, Krista goes to the police academy. After she finishes, she should still have plenty of time.
For a few months, maybe,
Oh,
we'll see.
a pretty big time commitment, the academy.
So, do you envision working for the, as a VSO or through the senior center? Who's paying you?
The senior center pay, I have to have at least 15 hours with the senior center a week anyway, so.
So how do we do that?
Because it'd be full time.
So how do we turn, okay, so the senior center pays you and then we submit a reimbursement to VFW or VFW, fetch
VFW.
Service, yeah.
For that payment as a VSO.
I don't know. I think if Krista wants to do this, I think we have to name her as our VSO.
We do,
And I
yeah.
think she has to take all the training to do all the paperwork and all of that. Whatever it is that has to be done to fill out the forms and be there to help them and
Right, and
whatever.
that would probably have to like be done by appointment, like if they need help with paperwork, they have to make
Yes.
appointments. I can make sure the senior center is not got me scheduled.
She's just gonna have open office hours. They would have to be.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, you could just keep doing could she just keep doing the 15 hours with the senior center and then do the,
Five.
Yeah.
Five. Split the 5.
That's right. It wouldn't be 20 in addition to 15. It would be
No.
15 plus
Mhm.
5. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I was
okay, I
saying.
was getting.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's
We were
right.
confused.
so
You were,
Sorry. Yes.
I was confused.
My bad.
yeah,
I think to get the funding though, you're probably gonna have to. You paid. Guess we would we reimburse the
Senior center.
senior center?
you'll figure
Sure.
that out.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
I mean, you'll have senior transport, it'll be local and there's a good shot. You'll get some of it back.
Well,
I mean, that's not,
and a lot, like even, like my local transportation here, a lot of them are veterans. I'm taking them shopping, I'm taking them to doctor's appointments, like, if we can figure out how
we just
to
can't.
make
double-
that work, right?
Yeah.
Figure out
Yeah.
who's paying that bill. I don't know.
You can give it a try.
Yeah, I'm for giving it a try. Probably want to sit down with Elisa and just see how it would look, make sure everything's the water with it. And if, yeah, I'm for giving it a try.
And whatever happens, let's just make sure we're very transparent and we're not double dipping and we're not doing anything to run afoul of any of the programs, either the senior or the VA. So let's just be really careful that when we do our billing, it's absolutely, accurate billing for each end.
It should be easy to separate the hours, like, between the two. So.
And Frank's real good, I know with Tom, he came right out, Legault. And helped, Frank
Right.
Legault, that's the VSO in Monson County.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Okay. And got planned, I'm maybe until February. So, and in the meantime, yeah, definitely,
In the meantime, somebody's gonna move in and that's.
And the state did suggest if we do another help wanted ad to send it to them. Because they said there's a lot of times a retired veteran who's interested in moving someplace else and might see this opportunity and say, oh, hey, that might be for me, I might come on. So, I don't know. It's up to you guys.
advertise the wider.
So. I don't know, I guess if you're willing, we can do that, or if you want us to put it out there, see what we get for a couple weeks, whatever you guys.
What was the new rule you said happened that caused such a problem?
There was a minimum hour requirement and then there was a training requirement. And the minimum hour requirement is what threw everyone. Cause it came out to 20 hours a week. And so you couldn't just be a very part-time person. You had to the county had to commit to a bigger.
And then you
Bigger
have
role.
to have that one card,
Your VFIP card or something.
something card.
Yeah, you have to go through training to obtain your
Obtain
card.
that, so you can get their actual records. Fill out a form,
Yeah.
Whatever, you may already have that.
I know, but
The benefit side of it seemed like it was more substantial as far as obtaining that card and staying up with everything.
So,
I mean, in a perfect world, you'd have a veteran that was already working for the county at part-time doing something else. And you would just tack on another 20 hours, or you wouldn't even have to tack on another 20 hours. They would just take on the role of BSO and just keep rolling, and some of their income would get paid through VA. That's in a perfect world, but I think a lot of the small counties have struggled with this by the traffic on the listserv. I can tell you, a lot of them are like, we can't do it. There aren't people, and
Would we need to advertise this internally? 'Cause I mean, this would only work for a county employee to count both of those hours.
do we have any veterans that
Krista,
just,
We have the corner.
order,
have we asked them?
no.
he
I
was,
could-
he was gonna apply for a while. I don't know what happened. And I think he was interested in it. I don't,
I think the 20 hours was an issue for a lot of that, but if it could be in conjunction with other county hours, I don't.
Well, I don't think as an elected official, he could do it. Correct?
He's not a full-time paid though.
Oh, he's not.
No.
You got Aaron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when Rick started doing this, Aaron actually got the job
Okay.
and wanted the job. But then when he got it, he said he didn't want it more.
Right.
So Doug Stowe went to Rick and said, hey, could you want that job? So Aaron currently didn't know from work.
I mean, if we only have 2 veterans working for the county, then I don't think that running obligation under the Equal Pay Act, but. Unless we just don't know. I mean, you can post something on the website looking, because we are still looking, even if Krista takes
Yeah.
it. You could just put something up right now that said, looking for someone interested. Is that what you wanna do?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'd like to talk with him as well, because I mean, with February, may want to do that after something like that, just. I mean, we only have 2, which we have 1.
I'm not too concerned about the Equal Pay Act on this position, frankly, that if somebody wants to come out of the woodwork and demand that they get that job, then they can have it, kind of thing.
Okay.
Especially if it's lukewarm anyway,
Well, we did have someone else who applied before,
we
we
did,
did call. Yeah, we're not.
We did an interview.
He did an interview and picked over this person, and they are still interested, so to be fair, do we?
well,
I
I
don't
think
know.
you have to consider that person's application, you still have it,
Yes.
and you have considered it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
So
I
let's
feel,
get with Elisa and kind of talk this out a little bit more, and then we'll put it out there for a week or so and see if we get anybody else and.
Yeah.
And then we'll.
I'm glad we're able to keep it here
Yes.
I am too, I think.
for now.
So, make more.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you both.
Whether you gonna be thinking.
Okay,
So, good.
Coming in. I know it's a little early, going through our own new business, so if you're ready. Oh, here.
So, morning, everybody. This is Ryan Joyner, our assistant field manager for lands and minerals for the field office.
Nice to meet you. I think I met some of these people. Folks later, but.
You're new.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice to meet you, sir. Thank you. I'm Eric.
Okay, so, last time we talked about, American Helium and, their operation, and things like that, and I didn't have a whole lot of answers, so, I brought the expert in to kind of give you an overview of, the oil and gas program within Dolores County. And then I have a couple, I can give my one update, that I personally have is that, this fall, we'll look for opportunities to burn out on the west rim out here. Dolores Rim, like we normally do. That's our normal area to get a bunch of good acres completed as far as prescribed burning. So we have 3 units there, I think for a total of almost 700 acres that we have identified for implementation this year. And once we are actually gonna burn, I'll send out a notice to you all with a map and everything of those areas that we intend to burn.
Okay, that's probably all weather contingent upon when you're gonna burn.
Correct.
Any anticipated
Mm-hmm.
time?
Right now we're looking, towards the end of this month, beginning of October. Is when, but like you said, it's very weather dependent, so, as long as we're getting prescription, we'll look for that opportunity. So it could be next week, we haven't, they haven't come to me to talk to me yet, other than, we plan on burning, starting, sometime this month, once conditions present themselves. And we burnt, as late as, November. So there again, it just depends on, what the weather conditions are and the fuel conditions are, for us to, make that decision to go ahead and move forward.
Okay.
You know,
Do you field a lot of complaints from hunters?
It's gotten a lot better. From probably I would say 2000. What was it? Probably about 2009 through 2012. We didn't do a lot of burning here in this area. It might have been like from 2006. They didn't do a lot of burning in this area. So there wasn't an opportunity. And then in 2012, my fault, I'm a real big proponent of prescribed fire, at least on the Forest Service side, and then now with the BLM side as well, just because it's a benefit, to maintaining the healthy forest. And also it was a change in personnel in the fire organization is really what it came down to. I shouldn't blame it on myself, but ultimately I was, the decision maker. But at the same time, we had a turnover in the fire organization and got a fire management officer in that was very proactive when it came to prescribed burning. So I bet you from 2012 through about 2016, we did have a lot of complaints. Is that we spent a lot of time out here scouting and things like that, and then you guys come and ruin our hunt, because with your prescribed burns. So, based on that, we actually have become a lot more proactive saying, okay, this is the time frame, unfortunately, it can't be, tied down to like, we're gonna do it these 2 weeks for sure. But it's, September through, November, but this is what we're gonna burn. And by getting that information out, a lot of the hunters have really gotten in tune with that, getting that information out early. Knowing that, okay, well, in this area is where they're identifying they're going to burn, and I'm not gonna spend, all my effort in scouting and things of that sort in that area, unless, or I know if I do, that there might be a chance
Yeah,
my hunt could be
a
impacted.
contingency of, I'm gonna hunt here, but if they're burning, I'll
Correct.
change my plans.
Yeah, so, that has come a long way as well, as just getting that information out early, so that people, can then make plans. And from about 2016 on, every once in a while, you'll get someone from usually out of state, that, hey, I spent a lot of time and effort to get down there, and then you guys ruined my hunt, you know, but like I said, it's become, you know, fewer and far, between, that we get those kind of complaints. Yeah, and then I just think people in general are a lot more supportive of prescribed burning, and understand, you know, why we do it. Actually, we had one year where, actually out on the glade up here, you know, there was a really irate person, you know, the bird boss, you know, kind of said, you know, I bet you if you come back when we're done, because it was like at the beginning of that hunt, you know, and we were only gonna be burning for 2 days. Said, I bet you if you come back, you're gonna find animals in here. And that hunter did do that, and he said he got the biggest off of his life, you know, and he came into our office to thank, you know, the prescribed bird boss, you know, because he had, you know, at that time and moment, you know, he was gonna go somewhere else and not even come back to the area. You know, but then when he told him that and he came back and actually got an animal, you know, maybe it was all love, you know, for everybody, I don't know, but we do see that a lot, is that after we burn, you know, those animals come right back in, because things respond very quickly, and you'll get some sprouting, you know, within the first couple of days. And they like that green stuff, so.
It's not a complete burn, everything's down, you know,
Exactly,
helps out with wildlife, not just up the forest.
right, okay,
We're breaking a lot of it.
right, yeah. That's good.
All right, you're going to plan on the hunts around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that, turn it over to, unless there's any questions, anything else.
Okay, so again, I'm Ryan Joyner, I'm the assistant field manager for land and minerals, and so I came here primarily today to talk to you about an ongoing situation that we have on federal development that kind of covers Utah, San Miguel County, as well as Dolores County, and that's the former holdings of Paradox Resources, currently under control of a group called G&G Ventures or American Helium, just depending on which angle you're looking at it from. But Derek also did mention that you guys might want some overview of oil and gas development in Dolores County at large. And so, I mean, I'm not sure where you'd like me to start. I'm happy to go either direction. And I decided not to have a big PowerPoint because this isn't a book report. And instead, just to kind of speak, if you guys have questions, I'm happy to go into details on the answers. But you, sir, where would you like to start? Would you like to start with the overview of oil and
Helium, and then we can go to the overview of Dolores County. That would work.
Absolutely. So Dolores County, and really what I'm talking about with Dolores County, oil and gas development is everything west of the forest. So looking at the map up here, everything west of the forest is primarily where you're going to find your oil and gas development. You guys, Dolores County sits on top of the Paradox Basin. So that's the geologic formation or series of formations that produces the oil and gas and helium resources you have in this area. So helium, you're correct. This is one of the few areas in the country where you have helium at right around 3 or 4% of the gas stream. And so that's what you see down in what's called the Miguel Dome unit, as well as the Doe Canyon unit of the CO2 development that Kinder Morgan does. That's where that helium plant comes from. That's down there. So they're actually stripping helium off of the CO2 at like a very, very small quantity, but there's just such a massive amount of CO2 going through the pipe that it's post meter that they can strip it off in an economic fashion.
It's contingent upon the CO2 extraction. For them.
Correct, yeah, correct.
We don't have any standalone helium.
Not exactly. So there's some opportunity in the future potentially for that, but right now there isn't. And it comes down to just the way that helium is produced. So helium itself is, you know, such small quantities of the gas streams that are here. You're talking, you know, 0.03%, 0.04%. So you have to go through so much massive quantity of volume, and then it's stripping it off of the gas stream, and then it's really transported out, so the pipeline aspect of it. There's a group called American Helium that owns this group here. We're going to talk about it, but this issue. It's a bit of a farce, the name American Helium. There's no helium that they produce. It's just the name that they're using. And it's because helium generally has a different public face to it than saying like oil or gas. So people really feel like helium is a very positive resource. And so that's what we're seeing more and more is folks putting helium in their name instead of gas, because they think that there's a good marketing value to it. But in this area here, there is helium. There's also a group called Four Corners Helium. That's kind of what's called an Indian Mineral Development Agreement that they're working on with the Mountain Ute tribe, where they'd like to bring a pipeline of helium through
this county eventually, but that's contingent upon the Lisbon gas plant working and being able to process that helium itself. So helium is here, but it's largely constrained by the processing of it. It's getting it out of the gas stream, being able to then transport it somewhere. But at some point in the future, you could see some helium development in this area. It's geologically possible. Otherwise, what you have in this county is oil development, oil stress, small quantities of oil. So there's Sealy, Sealy has a few oil wells kind of to the south here. And then PJ Simmons used to exist in this area. That all of those holdings were picked up by a group called Paradox, which then became American Helium. So those are all, they have the banner Four Corners Energy on there. That was just Paradox's other affiliate name. So it's all the same thing. So that's where all of the oil and gas development in Dolores County right now is wrapped up with this big issue with American Helium. So I'll just go ahead and start there if you're okay.
Perfect.
So back in January 2024, our office received a letter from the Office of Natural Resources Revenue to shut in every liquid cut to the universe of Paradox. That was because Paradox had not been paying royalty on any of their federal assets for a number of years. And so under the auspices of working together, we work with the Office of Natural Resources Revenue. They asked us to go and shut the wells in. So we clarified with them what they really mean by that. They had to shut in one of their federal units. That was the Andes Mesa unit. That precipitated Paradox going bankrupt. So they went bankrupt then, declared bankruptcy in March of 2024. It was then resold to another group called G&G Ventures in May of 2024. That group took over not only all 140 wells that are in San Miguel County, but then an additional dozen that were here in Dolores County as well, under Four Corners Energy. In September of 2024, that company, while they were trying to get themselves started, so we gave them a couple months to kind of get their feet underneath them, they fired all of their regulatory staff, which for us is a really bad sign. Because those are the folks that are looking after, all of the compliance issues. They're the ones who communicate with the federal government. They're who communicates with Honor. So if you don't have any regulatory staff, it's like the canary in the coal mine goes off. It's like, okay, they're gone first, and who are you left with? So they were left with 3 employees at that point. They had 1 field pumper, they had 1 field engineer, and they had an owner, Alberto Servant in Texas. In November, we increased their bond because we recognized that this was a bad situation. So we increased it by $540,000. It really doesn't do a whole lot for a 140 well asset, but it was the most that we could do at that point. In December, the Lisbon gas plant, which is where all of the gas from these federal units, including all of the gas that comes out of San Miguel and Dolores County, it all goes to this plant in Utah. It lit on fire. So the plant exploded. And they didn't tell us about that for about a week until their field person called me and said, hey, do you know that we had a plant fire and I have nowhere to take the gas anymore from this unit? So what should I do? So we started making calls, and it turns out then the next day, all of their field personnel got fired as well. So they were left with 1 person in Texas for all their assets in Dolores County, all their assets in San Miguel County. That was it. So for us as a field office, this was an emergency situation. So we called our state office and we contracted with a group called Northwind to come in and to secure the locations, to shut in the facilities, to shut in the meter runs, to remove all of their liquids that were there. So which was more of an issue for San Miguel County because y'all had both oil and water that was abandoned in tanks on the locations there. And we're not talking small quantities either. Now we had up to 20 feet of oil and water inside of tanks just sitting there suddenly with nobody watching it, no certain future for how to even get it to sale. So we contracted with Northwind. We as an agency spent somewhere around $840,000 to secure the locations, to sell the oil, to transport the materials. I mean, we're actually about to build American Helium. So we'll
say it can be made.
No, we're gonna build. Don't worry. And they, in the meantime, all this is happening, the company was able to recapitalize to a degree. They got some investors in. They hired a group called Cool Sky Engineering out of Denver. So Cool Sky came in March of last year, right towards the end of when we were still working on all of these issues with, they were drawing down their tanks and shutting their locations. And they, through their attorney, asked the BLM to stop all those operations, so that stop the operations. You're hurting our future ability to produce these wells. part of that was because what we were doing in the process of shutting in their locations, we were air gapping their meter runs. We were taking a chunk of pipe out of their gas line so that they couldn't just turn a wrench and turn it back on. They'd have to literally go there and reinstall pipe, spend some money to be able to get those pipelines back going again. So they're saying is this operation was costing so much money to the company for recapitalization that we were essentially creating a situation that would cause them to go bankrupt. So they asked us to stop, so we stopped. They hired their own people. They hired their own staff to get out there. Meantime, they're having all these same issues with the state of Colorado, with ECMC. And ECMC told their ability to operate as a company in the state of Colorado. So they have to do all this now through third party operators. So they're not even allowed to operate as a company. There's just so much happening here. So I apologize if I'm going quickly. They then restaffed up to a point where they started doing the things that the BLM was asking them to do. So we had asked them to remove tanks, to remediate the surface, to start, testing their formations, to come up with plans for us for actually producing the locations, and they began to turn in that paperwork. That's where we are with them right now, essentially. If I'm going to just cut to the chase, we're in the process of them attempting to continue to prove that they are an actual operator. So we have 31 plug and produce letters that we sent them over the course of this year. Those are our first step towards saying, hey, you haven't produced this well in X amount of time. It's now time to see, is it mechanically capable of production anymore? We've got a dozen plans to plug those wells. We've also then applied for state money to ECMC to get the state to pay for them to plug those wells. So they have plans this fall to plug about a dozen wells. They got $150,000 per well for the plugging of it. But that still leaves something like 130 wells out there, either in a state of disarray or shut in.
Now, this is all in the south, correction, all that is in the same location.
Yes, so this is between San Miguel and Dolores
Yeah.
counties.
Where the wells are, but it's processed there and.
In Utah,
Lisbon.
yeah,
Lisbon,
it's set across,
Lisbon.
and the plant is still shut down. So where the gas would go to right now is also a big question mark. So even if they could turn those wells back on, how do they even process it? Where does it go? It's like, you got a straw, but there's nothing sucking on the pipe.
It's the same problem that.
Yeah, so this is where we're coming to right now, is we have all the wells in Dolores County have applied for plugging the wells. There's a plan potentially in place. They haven't had all the money awarded to them from the ECMC for the wells in Dolores County. But they've gotten a dozen total across both San Miguel and Dolores County. And I can send you guys a list of those wells if you'd like to see them. And we are working with this operator, so, to bring them back into compliance. Where this ends up landing, I couldn't tell you right now. They have people in place that are answering questions. They are making progress on their surface. They have plans for plugging. They've gotten some state funds. But at the end of the day, this is largely the same group that ran Paradox, that ran CCI. It's almost the exact same people. So whether or not, they come forward and they're able to change the production here, I'm not sure. They to date have not produced 1 ounce of gas, 1 cup of oil. They haven't brought anything to sale. So where their money's coming from is also a question mark for us. It's not one that we look at, as an agency, but it's a curiosity. Most of the time, companies need to be making money to spend money, not this group for some reason. So we're watching it with bated breath, if that makes sense. So there's the Federal Oil and Gas Regulation Management Act, which is where we set our inspection and enforcement strategy every year. We set our strategy last year when we still had more hope for American Helium. This year, we're about to set it again in September, and we're going to be inspecting 100% of all their locations again, and they're catching all of our attention again this year. So we're watching them very, very closely right now, coordinating with the state of Utah, coordinating with ECMC. There's other investigations going on as well. So the Office of Inspector General is looking at the group of companies that is G&G Ventures, and they're bringing some actions against them. I can't say more than that, but that's where they're at right now. So stay tuned, and as much as you want updates on this company, I'm happy to give them to you. We're actually as a state right now getting our arms around, you know, everything that this is in conjunction with UConn, because it actually goes beyond our authorities. It goes into honors, it goes into state authorities, and it's bigger than the Trace Rios Field office, it's bigger than the state of Colorado. It's just a very large, tentacly,
With higher demand on, I mean,
Yeah.
your office.
high demand on us to make sure that their assets that are in Dolores and San Miguel County are taken care of well. You know, if there's something that our office could have done for some years earlier was, you know, as they were CCI, as they were Paradox, is being more proactive with some of the things that we were asking them to do, because that could have set us up now for having less issues to work on. But that being said, you know, that was the past being the past, we're very much on top of them right now. Watching them for their issue. We currently don't have any concerns with environmental remediation, contamination, theft of oil, theft of gas. We have no concerns with those things, but that's because they're physically incapable of getting that done right now. There's more issues with them. They are, you know, somewhere in the tune of $65,000 on back rent for their pipelines. Pipelines are a separate asset from the oil and gas locations themselves. And they don't technically own those yet because they never applied for them and they never paid back rent on it. So there's lots for them to fix. That we're working through. I mean, we're on top of them for all of it, but it's just waiting for them to come forward and do what's right. So I'm sure there's questions, and I'm happy to back up somewhere or get more details anywhere. But that's it from 1,000 feet.
A lot to process.
It is. And I'm sure it is. You know, and it's unfortunate because, you know, in reality, when groups like this go to bankruptcy, what we hope for is that a company comes in that has all of the correct capitalization, all of the correct personnel to be able to produce it in economic quantity so that the American people get the royalty out of it. We've invested in the surface. We've allowed the surface to be, you know, well pads, access road, you know, the impact to the environment, that's happened. Now let's get the royalty. Now let's get the product. We're not getting any of that. It's all the damage. None of the payoff.
Well, it's cascading effect because, I mean, we have people that are employed in Lisbon,
Yep.
in Dolores County, and it's a major economic hit for us.
Well, they had the big layoff and then they hired a bunch of them back. So they're not doing anything, but they're having to pay this out in
This is
wages.
separate than the mine itself. The gas plant.
No, this is the gas.
Okay,
plant,
yeah.
And they have layoff and then they,
Hired some back, but
Yeah.
they're not operating, it's just sitting until.
So you know, you said something.
Yeah.
You guys know that too.
Which I've been wondering how long can that continue, but how revenues coming in.
Well, that's an issue, you know, so, you know, bringing it back to helium, your first question. Lisbon gas plant, one of the few gas plants in the country that can be retrofitted to process helium. So there's a couple different helium potentials here that are being threatened right now. So that the IMDA, like, not you, that was in gas or in Cleveland County. That only goes through, that only works if there's a place to take the gas. So same thing with American Helium ostensibly, you know, wants to produce helium at some point. That is something that they've said to us. They haven't made any plans that would actualize on that, but that's what they say why they picked up the asset was the potential for helium and to plug back on certain wells and to do that work to search for that helium, but they haven't spent the money to look for that yet.
Wow, that was a good story.
Yeah, I know,
you think the bottom line started just mismanagement?
If I were to look at, you know, so what I think it is, oil companies can be traded here publicly as well as other places. And Humberto's servant, who is the owner of American Helium, lives in London. And you know, Kemba Anderson, who's our chief of fluid minerals for the state of Colorado, and we're looking at this, and we think that they're could be selling like shares of this company on different exchanges, and that could be how they're capitalizing themselves. And in that instance, what an investor is looking for is number of federal acres that you can produce. Whether or not you're producing it is a separate question. You know, how many federal leases do you have? How many units do you have? How many
potential rather.
Yeah, exactly. What's as I'm an investor? Oh, you look really great right now. It's an investment opportunity. Mike Pompeo actually is on the board of American Helium, if that makes any sense at all, on their website. So those are the things that I think that they're advertising for themselves because they're able to get more revenues that way. So any amount of acreage is a good thing for them. Whether or not they're actually producing it, what could be a problem is when that acre comes with potential liabilities, like environmental damages, or they had obligations to a well that they're not following. And that's where these companies, it's like, yeah, you got the asset over here that you might be able to sell shares in that, but that asset, like I said, you got responsibilities to, and they're not taking care of those responsibilities, they either lose the asset or it comes into fine. You know, at one point last year, we were threatening millions of dollars, what are called civil penalties, based on this, and we dropped that civil penalty, stuff because of their litigation, their lawyers. At the same time, that could come back. So, you know, if at some point this year, they don't follow through with these plan to produce letters, they don't follow through with their plans to produce, we are at the ready to issue them second inks and then go right back to the civil penalties. And then with civil penalties, it's interesting, it goes right back to the original infraction, which is like, at this point over a year ago, and we charge from that day, every day, moving forward up to, I think it's $840,000 per infraction. Per infraction, so it's really, really expensive, really fast. So I think last year it was up to, we were saying like up to $20 million, we were to add all of the infractions together, which is when their lawyer got involved. So, you know, it's like we're pushing them as hard as we can. We only have so much authority. We are coordinating though with state of Utah, with ECMC, with the Office of Inspector General, and folks like yourselves as much as we can. And, you know, whenever you guys want an update, you know, just please let me know. I'm happy to give it to you.
I can't say how much I appreciate you coming in and
Yeah,
and giving us the summary with that. I mean, we're hopeful that oil and gas and helium will pick back up here, but it doesn't sound like there's a path for it right now without some other steps that have to be taken. Largely that are out of your control, our control.
That's his path, will be for this group to go bankrupt. Same, it's go right back to, and then get a better group in there, get a better company in there. And that's likely, but the likeliest end point to this is, you know, we are gonna be issuing them a bill for $840,000 plus 25%, because we don't do things for cost. So plus 25%, and that's what we're gonna be getting back from them, or asking them back as an agency, plus their plugging obligations, and that's what's gonna be hitting here in the next couple of weeks. And so I think you could see, I'm not saying, I don't have crystal ball, you could see that stress the company to the point where they can't move forward. We'll see. And personally, it sounds like we're playing hardball. We have worked really hard with this group to bring them back up to be able to release those wells. It's the lack of capitalization on their part to be able to fully bring those wells back into service, it should be an issue. You know, bigger company like BP or Chevron or something, they come in here and no problem. You know, but that's unfortunately, these assets don't tend to attract that kind of investment. Yeah.
I was thinking back in the 90s, there were John Brown and Canna, CCI.
Yeah.
Willow Creek. You know, now the Willow Creekies, you know, international too, but all those different companies over the years that.
Yep.
Their names.
Yep, you're correct. Yeah, you got more history on this than I realized even. So
I have many friends that,
No, when it
they
can-
started out at John Brown when it first started.
Correct, yeah, no, I actually remember, maybe 15 years ago in Canada, was actually drilling a few wells out, and make it go. That's when DJ Simmons was still producing as well, and then, you know, CCI came in, and, you know, they're more of a pipeline company than a producer. So they, first, I think they just didn't know what to do with production locations, and then they sold it to Paradox, and Paradox is this same like this guy, you know, so he didn't put any money in the field, or he lost it, or picked it up again somehow, so.
Ultimately, I mean, the goal is, you know, is to work with these folks, you know, they are showing progress. And are, you know, moving forward with getting to the point of production, you know, that's what we all want to see.
Yeah.
You know, our goal is not for them to go bankrupt or anything like that. You know, but some of the things that we, from a regulatory standpoint, need to do, they put them in that situation, you know, but if they start turning things around, you know, and are being successful, you know, we're going to continue to work with them so that they can become successful and start producing on their leases.
But yeah, so when I see that an entity that is functioning very well and producing, it sounds like they have quite a few barriers, and especially if it's the same issue, just the second go around, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's better to have, I mean, so the other aspect of this is it could have been that these turned into orphan wells. And so it's good that we did have some group come in and they're trying, we have somebody on the hook right now, an entity. And that's the other concern is that, let's say these guys go bankrupt and then, folks come in here would do their homework in advance and they know how much money it's gonna take to kind of, that may stop people from picking up the asset. And then that's when these would turn it, so we've gone to record type, so we as BLM will pursue everybody that's ever owned the wells. Up to a certain percentage of fractional ownerships. And then once we've exhausted trying to get in touch with those folks, they become orphans. And then essentially we pull that bond and it's on the American people then to take on the cost of plugging those wells and remediating that surface. And so, a lot of the work we're doing right now is preparing the location. So we're doing lots of soil sampling, lots of remediation, lots of digging for the event that in the future they aren't there anymore.
Well, they'll know what they're gonna be stepping into.
Yeah, they'll be stepping
Or
into,
the other side of
but
it.
in that event, so bonds, for instance, they go plugging first. They don't go to the surface reclamation. So what you could find is that at some point, we as American people plug all the wells, but leave the surface. So you got this terrible, blight on the surface essentially. So we're doing work right now to see, get this company to fix as much of that as they possibly can. So that happens, it's less, less damage. Yeah.
Rick? I'm curious what your thoughts are with this.
Well, I mean, my son worked for the outfit that's there right now. He left there.
Sorry, from Paradox? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, I have some insight there as far as what went on. As he worked for CCI when they were there.
Okay, yeah.
He wound up going to Texas with CCI. Come back after 5 years and went back down there. So yeah, I mean, there's even back in the early days, I spent 32 years working for Shell and Kinder Morgan. So what Colorado Oil and Gas had them doing for, policy and stuff was way different than what they had us doing with Kinder Morgan and Shell. We were held to a much higher standard than any of those companies down there were. It seemed inequitable. And this may be kind of what happens when that happens, when you don't enforce the rules across the board for everybody. Then this one group, they tend to get away with a lot of stuff and things go downhill. The next guy comes in and says, hey, we don't have to do a lot of this stuff. So it just keeps going further and further downhill.
You picked up on something right there. So and he's not wrong. And in this, so Kinder Morgan is in this area and they are so compliant. They are so above the board. As soon as we call them, they're right there with fixing things. And then you're right, you get to the paradoxes of the world, or what we call the duct tape and baling wire operators, where so you go up there, if you can fix it with baling wire, put some duct tape on that thing, if you can get a magic marker out there, it's fixed, right?
Yeah.
And our regulations, it's like we have best management practices, then we have like the minimum workman-like standard, and in between there's so much space.
Yeah.
And it's open to a lot of interpretation for how that field manager, that inspector, that BLM person is interpreting those regs. That is exactly what can happen, especially where you've got a group that's very easy to work with. Kinder Morgan, super easy to call them, hey, fix that right away. That's exactly what they do. Whereas you've got to write, maybe, throw a letter writing campaign to get the same thing done, with the duct tape and baling wire operator sometimes.
Well, that's the thing. I think that, the federal agencies, at least from my standpoint as a producer or an employee of a producer, would be, let's work together on all this stuff. But it didn't always seem like that from my view, from the ground view. It didn't always seem like we were working together. It seemed like we were being dictated to, that this is my interpretation. I don't care what these other guys are doing. I want you to do this.
Yeah.
And again, the inequity of the whole thing.
I'm sorry, that was your experience. So we work pretty hard, I think, right now, at least in the Tres Rios, to be very even-handed with our approach to data. There's only so many of us right now.
Well, and you're about 3 different people back from when I was there. I left there 3 years ago.
Okay.
I've probably been at least 3 different people in your position since then.
Okay, yeah.
From what I see from the land management group, yeah, nobody sticks around very long.
It can't be that way.
Yeah. But the helium thing, I did samples for Shell and Kinder Morgan. I pulled samples for companies around the world universities, all kinds of stuff, and that's really how we wound up finding the helium was going to a well at Doe Canyon that had been completed, yet still had pressure at the surface. We didn't have to re-enter it, so we sampled it, and wow, look what we got here.
Yep.
You know, and but the thing is, it's the host gas.
Yeah, see.
What are you gonna do with the host gas?
And that's exactly what we're running into as well right now. So that IMDA we're talking about down there. So when you think about the sleeping U, I'm talking about this stuff really close to the four-quarter border. You know, and you're right, they're looking at old bond logs, and they're looking for when they show signs of inert gases, you know, because that's generally helium right now. But then that's the question, what do they do with the rest of the gas where it's uneconomic? There's no pipeline, so you're gonna vent it. Well, then what do you do with the inert gases? How do you get that out? So we're talking about like progressing and trucking it off the location. There's a lot of capital.
Well, the dry ice plant has been, you know, extracting there for decades, long before Shell even came along in the 80s and started taking gas out.
Yep.
So there is infrastructure close. There's infrastructure close, you know, there's pipelines that go to Texas, there's compression available, there's a lot of things that could bring that out. And again, you know, it's all it takes is a good amount of helium and host gas. Facilities are close. I mean, you got the facility up here, it's easy to bring that gas up here, take your helium out, send it on down through Kinder Morgan's compression.
You're 100% correct.
Well, I mean, I know how the process works, and I know what's happening there and what can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of opportunity. You still have to have a market for that host gas, whether it's natural gas over here at the Lisbon plant, or whether it's CO2 coming from, you know, Sleeping U.
And that host gas is exactly the issue of the Lisbon plant. So that's part of, you know, they need that the volumes of gases to be coming off of the federal unit to be able to produce helium at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, correct.
Which doesn't work when you're plugging wells.
It also doesn't work when all your wells are shedding air gas.
Yeah.
So you know, it's like, where's it coming from? So that's the question right now. And it's not up for us to answer that question. You know, it's up to us to make sure the leases are complied with, and that's as much as we can do.
So then it sounds like you guys are going to step beyond that of setting it up for somebody to step in and potentially be successful with it.
We're just looking for, we can see past this, and at some point will be this era of operator will be either they'll be producing and they'll be, you know, making money, or we'll be on to somebody else. So yeah, we're trying to see past that. Try to have the 10-year vision instead of the 2-year.
Yeah.
And one thing I was thinking about as I was coming over here today, I wish I would have brought you guys a map of all the locations in Dolores County. So I'm gonna do that this week, just so you guys have that in your back pocket. I'll send it to the group here. And if there's anything else material wise, that you know, you all would like to see. I know Floyd and Steve really like maps. So if you guys, whatever you can think of with maps, you know, let me know, and I'm happy to put that together and shoot it over to you guys, or, you know, whatever you know is useful, let me know. Okay.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys coming out and for that presentation.
Yeah.
I'm very
That
impressed,
helps a lot.
very impressed. I learned a lot there.
Sure.
Yeah.
If that PowerPoint would have been even nicer.
We-
Could have had a laser out.
It's just the paradox. This kind of brings it all in, why and how come, and
Not only
yeah,
that,
20 questions.
trying to be future oriented, looking at what type of industry, we could bring into Dolores County and what the future holds for our oil and gas, because it is a huge portion of our tax base. So anything like that really helps us.
Personally, I think the future is uranium here. I think it's uranium and vanadium. So you know, we're actually seeing the potential for real uranium mining to start happening in San Mateo County, and you know, it's like I would imagine that Bent Creek would be one of the few places that people could live and then get out to those mines. And so that's where I think that you could see a lot of economic opportunity in the next 10 or 20 years, specifically with vanadium. Which is so you have one silica crystal, and part of it is uranium, the other part is vanadium. Those are going to be used in what are called redox batteries moving forward in the future. It's going to be a better battery than lithium, and there's so few vanadium deposits in the world. This is one of them. And so that's where, if I were to get my crystal ball out right now, I think that's where minerals are headed in these areas.
You can ask Rick, that was part of what was the major, well, not in Dolores County, but San Miguel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I spent 10 years out there doing that too.
Well, there you go.
And,
Yeah.
You know, extraction is my thing.
Yeah. You should come work with it.
I love to. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, but, yeah, there's so much opportunity and potash as well.
Potash.
You know, there's a group trying to produce potash here as well, locally,
Mhm.
yeah,
Had a
there's,
couple copper shows, you know, you get the Lisbon copper plant, you got copper on this side of the line as well. I think mining's a big possibility here. Well,
Historically, looking at when Dolores County was thriving, it was too much.
yeah. Could be the future too.
Yeah.
We probably wouldn't all been born and raised here if it wasn't for the mines.
Yeah. Everybody here has a tie.
Yeah.
We have a tie,
Yeah,
yeah.
Rico, the east side, mining down here, but when, when Dolores County was thriving, the mines were going.
Yeah, 50 years ago, 1975, Dolores County graduated the largest class from their school system.
Yep.
But because of the mining?
Because of mining,
Same
same way.
those trends, yeah.
Yeah, same
Seems
way,
like
Nata Rita, same way, 1975, largest class ever graduated. Almost 80 kids graduated out of Nata Rita Nicholas School in 75.
Yeah.
And now they graduate 10 or 12 a year.
And we're looking at double, sometimes closer to triple with our student enrollment,
Mhm.
comparing with the numbers back then. and
Yeah.
what we have now.
Yeah, that class of 75 here was 44.
Yeah,
And again, we're graduating 10 or 12 kids a year now.
yeah,
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. There are jobs that, you know, a single family income can support the family from jobs like that. Moms can stay home and take care of kids.
And we were all raised that way.
Yeah,
And you
Yeah.
had, you had a good life. You weren't millionaires, but you had a good life.
Well, we're leasing again right now as an agency, so we don't see the trade, we didn't have anybody nominate oil and gas parcels in our field office, but we did in the Uncompahgre field office and the Grand Junction field office. So for oil and gas leasing, like that's happening again, so, you know, it's like, you can see the same thing with solid mineral, you know, people give us notices all the time, so we're open for business. Someone wants to come in here and produce mineral, we're ready. It's just, you know, a matter of getting that company to come in and want to spend that money and make that capital investment to create those jobs for families in the area, because I see the same thing, you know, resources are what supports the people in the area, and without those resources, you know, what do we have? Not much.
Well, San Juan County, Monticello, long before the tourism, it was the richest county in the state of Utah. That would have been the 70s. You had all
Yeah.
the Atlas, Rick worked for Alice. He has always been that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the richest above any of them, they said it was astronomically
Yeah.
because of the mining.
We like that our.
And I don't think it is, but it's still up there, but not the
Yeah.
richest.
I live in La Plata County, I always ask my wife, "Oh, do you like the property taxes are low?" Like, what do we get from that? Yeah, so it's the truth.
Very true. They just, they're in New Mexico, you know, they just, and I think that all, you know, families will get childcare for free, and that's all due to oil and gas.
Mhm.
What was your name, sir?
Rick.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Thanks, Rick. So if there's any other questions, I mean, oil and gas, mining, it's got rights of ways, it's all unfortunately the needs of. How would they answer that?
okay, perfect, yeah, I mean, the map will be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
With locations in Dolores County, and then, yeah, just to connect with you over email too,
If you'd ever like to come to the field, come check out a mine, come check out an oil and gas location, go to the drill rig, this kind of stuff, we're happy to put you in FRs and bring you out there.
okay, perfect. I worked at Lisbon when I was younger, school, and then, yeah, Apple Creek and Adams Mesa. I'm not way too
So
soon.
maybe it won't be that much fun for you, but.
Yeah.
They've got memory.
Yeah.
That's summer, that's not like work yet, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Title, he's an engineer. but
He's a drilling engineer.
Drilling engineer.
Yeah, worked for Encana quite a while, learned all that. kind of thing. Cool. It's part of the culture here, yeah. It's cool. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate you coming in. You're welcome.
Yes, that was interesting.
Beautiful.
Nice to meet you and thank you.
Nice to meet you.
You guys later.
How you doing out here?
Good.
Stay up.
Thanks for,
See you later.
having me here.
Thanks for
reaching out.
specifically for this.
What's
It's
that?
good to have you come in
Oh,
for this.
thank
Noah.
you. Well, you know, I saw them on the docket and I thought, well, you know, I'll come in and see what we got going on.
Yeah.
Always interested to see what the field impact.
Don't leave.
Yeah.
How long how the
Yes.
lodging taxes did.
Tell us
Is that
about
what
the
you're
lodging.
doing?
No, I-
You guys been meeting at the motel?
We have,
Right.
okay, that sounds bad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Well-
good night, Joe.
Let me add a little bit to that, let me add a little bit.
Oh, my God.
Not only have we been meeting, but when we had the event at Bangers, that had the, for the uranium money stuff, we were insinuated as being,
She was trying to tell me how I could get money for helping him,
Really?
not my husband.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
yeah, so, yeah.
That's funny. Kind of mad at the quick, we've been meeting at, with, Casey particularly,
Yeah.
and Greg, and Rick and I, and so it's been monthly and we're.
Lodging tax board.
Lodging tax
Yeah.
portion. Yes.
Their commission.
Board or whatever, and we are, for this next meeting, we've been doing broader scope things, wouldn't you say? Kind of just looking at the tourism, but different, what do we really want to encourage? And then now we're more focusing around what points for how much money there is, which is not a big amount, but, so that's where we are for the next meeting, is to kind of come up with some ideas to present to you guys as far as things with price tags attached.
Okay.
And Greg,
Awesome.
Lemon, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but, he is an excellent facilitator, meeting facilitator, he can keep your meeting on track. He can capture bullet points, he's been invaluable.
Just meetings productive.
To keep things being productive, where meetings are productive, I feel like we've had some, the typical running around, we come up with a lot of ideas, we keep coming back to some of the things, which says maybe that's where we want to go. So, but yeah, he's been a great facilitator. And we brought people in, again, motel that weren't initially part of the group that started.
Very valuable input.
Given the
Yeah.
flexibility that we have, that you give this group, we brought in people that we thought would be advantageous to.
It's great.
Have good input.
Yeah, he's from the hotel front row to who's coming to town and what are they looking for and
It is
what
so
can we
interesting.
capitalize.
Yeah, to listen to Casey and Kelly and listen to what the people, what their patrons are telling them, what they're wanting, what they're asking for, the reasons they come here.
Yeah.
Really pretty eye-opening.
Yeah.
Really is. So, given that, we're trying to capitalize on that good input.
In case.
Yep.
Casey Spitzer,
Billy.
they
Billy and Marty sent you.
purchased the motel and they're renovating it.
Yep. And Kelly's. Yeah.
And
Really
Kelly-
happy with that. Yeah, she's.
Where is the meeting room in there? Where are you meeting?
Some of the office, they've redone the front office, beautiful, local stone and woods, the blue beetle, pine and stuff. They're gonna have some more gift shop items for Duck Creek, specifically local in Colorado. And then if you go right back through, there was an apartment there that the person would live in, so.
Yeah, the kitchen, living
They've
room.
kind of cleaned up that area, yeah, the kitchen, so it's an open room where they have all their monitors to see back in them.
Oh,
That's phenomenal.
Very
Oh, they
enthusiastic,
work
very
like dogs.
enthusiastic group that you want to go somewhere and talk to some people that have ideas and have a vision and come away very, very enthused. That's the place to go.
Nice.
impressive. Oh, they worked.
And
Yeah.
a plan for the RV area, to have a fire pit sitting area. Possibly they talked to Erica more about the cow.
Cowboys.
Their
Yeah,
They're gonna be
vision
coming
is
back. It says, yeah.
There.
Yeah, it's fun working with, like, again, Casey and Kelly have so much stuff that they're getting from outside people. That's the thing is. I tend to have television on issues and things and to get outside input like that from people who come in from outside the area, that this is what they're looking at, this is how they see our area, this is what they want to do, where they want to go. It really gives us a lot more opportunities.
Well, both of them have lived, like Casey with
Yeah.
the South Dakota, with
Yeah.
FCI, was that what he was like,
Yeah.
way up there in that, and then Kelly with her degree and.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so again, once again, trying to keep the character local,
Uh-huh.
not run us over, but come from different perspectives to be able to
Uh-huh.
capitalize better on actually doing things and moving things forward, which is to push back here a lot from the last 20 years of don't want change.
people are resistant to change, but I mean, we're gonna have to
We
change.
need-
Can either be
Some
charge of it or.
people just don't like change, but we have
That's
to.
it.
You have
Right there,
to, yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
You're not gonna grow
and
if you don't.
CDOT plays a big part in this too.
Yeah.
You know, and what we keep coming back to, you know, they're gonna require me to change this and do that, and, you know, I've got to come up with $40,000-50,000 to be compliant with CDOT's regulations for my access, and then one thing and another, you know, I think our representation with CDOT needs to kind of keep that in mind, that as the town goes forward with their engineering process, with trying to revamp possibly how Main Street or how 491 looks like in Dove Creek.
Looking at the road diet.
Well, and whatever that looks like. I mean, we call it what we want, but it could be something very different than any of us can even imagine. But yeah, that I'll see, you know, our businesses need to be the primary focus in that as we continue down that path. You know, access to businesses, making things to where businesses don't have to put a lot of money to have access to traffic going through. And right now, you know, they're pushing Casey to have to block one of his entrances and only use.
Really?
Yeah.
Different
Yeah.
use permit because the RV's coming in so that the, in front of the old swinging sands over there.
Yeah.
To make that a curb,
Singing.
singing sands.
So yeah, that's important as whoever our CDOT representative is, you know, that needs to
Be
be
a better liaison.
part
I
of the
think.
deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
But your profile under our town manager, would that be,
What's that?
or as far as days on our town manager, would that
It
be?
would be both, it'd probably joint effort with the town and the county. Would probably be the best way to go about that.
I've always thought that probably someone from the county that represents the county to see.
Yeah, so I'm CDOT, the liaison.
Okay,
Oh, you are, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think those are our reorgs.
yeah, but that's, you know.
I didn't know they were trying to make them only have one.
With an engineering plan, cha-ching, and all the other, yeah, which he's working with them.
Yeah,
He's-
well,
he's-
and again, I mean, if the town is going forward with some realignment, why would you want to do anything with what you have right now if what comes later could, and it may be 3 to 5, it could be longer than that, years away, but still, let's not do things that we may have to have later.
Or make our businesses pay substantial.
Yeah, yeah, our
portion of
business
it.
don't have a lot to pay out of pocket.
We did have one question, would there be an approval or what, as far as like somewhere special we were talking about is town and county kind of co-opted? But it doesn't really help, marketing or presenting things. Would that be something that you guys would, we were gonna come up with some options to present to you to perhaps move forward on some different rates to. Just something to
Something
think
different
about.
than our summer special.
Yes.
I love that. I'm old, I don't want change.
I'd love to hear,
Anyway,
how was
thank
it,
you.
I mean, was that, I mean. Was that ever formally adopted?
That was our question, is there a?
I think Margaret was here when they did that.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, you don't think it's way
She
before?
came same time as me and I think it was there for a long time. I thought that was, I don't know, you guys would know, didn't you grow
I
up?
think it might
It was somewhere special.
be Dan Fernandez, maybe that. I bet Alma would know.
DCDC.
BCDC, I think it was something.
Hey, Margaret.
And I like the logo and it's, what do you want to change on that?
No, just look at opportunities for what are we attracting? What are we marketing? Like, are we marketing mining? Are we marketing farmers? Are we marketing, you know, what does the county want to have, what does the town want?
Well, who do you want?
Who do you want to attract?
You want, you want to attract every off-road motorcycle group in Arizona to come up here and ride through the river? Or would you like to have a different group come up and maybe have a little less impact, right?
They must be. Busy, where it's cooler, cause I visited with like
Oh,
three
yeah.
different groups. I always have to talk to him because it's so cool. What is it called across America?
Yeah, Transamerica.
Transamerica, yeah, I love. to
Yeah,
visit.
they're usually a pretty interesting.
Oh, they are.
Because they've already been about 3,000 miles by the time they get here. And
Uh-huh.
they've just gone through the toughest part, one of the toughest part. They're either totally amazed and so psyched or else they're just so worn out, they can't wait to hit Moab rest.
They've all said the same thing that before the heat has been so bad this year. And the one said in Oklahoma, he about rented a U-Haul, flew it in there and went back to Florida.
Yep,
It's the heat, and he's from Florida.
right?
Yeah.
Almost seems to think goes about 18 to 20 years ago, they did something summer special.
Bryce
And-
Kingpin designed it, from
Yeah.
what I understand.
And it was
But I don't.
before Dan left. She thinks it was, she thinks about 18 to 20 years ago. Do you know how they did it?
I do not have any idea, because it was already done when I came to work.
You could have a contest for us.
So, I don't know.
Just some options and opportunities that we're looking at, as far as revitalizing the image.
Yeah.
And attracting.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more color.
Well, I mean, your message, I mean,
Something messaging, something that could be put on a flag, and, you know, different things.
Yeah.
there's
Just options or.
an economic impact from your messaging.
Right.
You know.
So that's it, we're not ready to present yet, but just wanted to keep you aware that we were doing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's all positive with the young ones at the motel. Their ideas and
Oh, yeah, it's fun to go out and talk to the guys.
Mhm.
Really.
young minds, do they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well.
We have
thank
one
you
here
guys.
too.
No.
We have one here too.
Yeah.
Young minds.
See you next time.
We'll see.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Anything else? You guys can think of? Right. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, the motion.
All in favor of adjourning?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
meeting adjourned.
I think it would be neat to see something that
Let me, get us.
talked about, some type of logo that took into account or slogan that took into account